Okay, we're ready to get started in Eclipse. Open up Eclipse and follow along with me, or watch the video and then go back and try it on your own. When you open Eclipse, once you get past the original screen that you'll probably only have to see once in your lifetime, where you picked the workbench, you see the workbench. It's got a package explorer on the left, an area for your code here, and an area down here called the console. So we're going to create ourselves a new Java project. I'm going to do that by saying File, New, Java Project. And it's going to ask me for the project name. I can give it anything I want. I'm going to call this one Initial Concepts. I'm going to take the defaults on everything else. Notice it's going to put it in wherever I said my default folder was for Eclipse workspaces. So I can change it if I don't want the default, but in general, using the default is what we want. I'll press Finish, and it's going to create a new Java project called Initial Concept. It shows up over here in my Package Explorer. If I open it up, it tells me I've got a source folder that has nothing in it, and I've got a Java Runtime Environment System Library. That's one of the things that was installed when you installed your Java Development Kit. That's automatically included in here because under the covers, we're going to need to use those to execute our programs. But I don't have anything in my source folder, no classes. I'm going to fix that right now. With Initial Concepts highlighted, I either go to File, New, and pick Class, or if I didn't want to do it that way, I right-click on the name of the Java project, Initial Concepts, and do New Class. It's going to give me a new class. Notice it tells me the source folder is Initial Concepts. That's the name of the Java project, /source. Package will ignore for now and just take the default, but it's put the cursor here under Name. I need to give the name of my class. This has to be a name that Java can understand, starts with a letter, it can include letters, numbers, special characters. The convention is start it with a capital letter in Java. I'm going to call this Initial Concepts 1. And I'm going to say, let's make it public. I'm going to take all the defaults for this. Notice one of the defaults is there's a check mark here by public static void main string square bracket args. That's something that every Java program has to have one of, and you type it exactly that way each time. Eclipse says, I know you'd make a mistake if you typed it on your own, so let me do it for you. Press Finish, and let's see what it gives us. I've now got in my source folder, in the default package, something called Initial Concepts 1.java. And here is the code for it. Public class, name of the class, here's the opening curly brace, here's the closing curly brace. Within it, it put in some comments. It starts with a /*, a //, and I can type in whatever I want here. This is my Initial Concepts class in Java. Doesn't matter what I type here, Java will ignore it. Then I've got the public static void main string square bracket args with its opening brace and closing brace. Puts in another comment. To do, it generated a method stub. Well, I don't want that. I want to put my own code in here. For now, I am just going to put something in that you'll learn about in Lesson 1D that's going to print out something for me. I'm going to type in system.out.println and then double quote Wowee. Okay, my typing got ahead of me there. Parenthesis, double quote, Wowee. Close the parentheses and put a semicolon at the end. Notice when you're typing it, Eclipse helps out. If you open a parenthesis, it types a closing parenthesis, knowing that you're going to have one eventually. If you type an opening brace, it puts in a closing brace. If you type in an opening quote, it puts in a closing quote. So you have to watch and see what Eclipse is helping you with. All right, this is my entire program. I'm going to print out the characters Wowee. In order to execute it, I need to save it. To save it, I click on File, Save, or I hit Control S, or I find the little icon up here that means save. It's this one right here that looks like a floppy disk that you guys have probably never seen. Okay, this is now saved. I can execute it. I can execute it by clicking on Run. Let's see, Run as Java application. It's going to run the program and put the results down here in the console. Notice it printed out Wowee. Let's change it to Wowee. This is fun. If I save it again this time, I'm just going to hit Control S to save it. And to run it, instead of going to the Run menu, I'll use this little green circle with a white triangle in it. That runs the last thing that I just ran. Press Run. Now it puts in Wowee. This is fun. Okay, let's do one more thing to illustrate what we saw in our previous video. I'm going to insert a couple of blank lines here, give myself a variable, a string variable. I'll type in string space X. In our previous video, we used the letter S. I can use any variable name I want, and it can be as long as I want. I'll just call this one X, then I'll say X equals, wow, this is fun. Close the quotes, put in a semicolon, and now instead of doing Wowee, this is fun, I print out the variable X. Save it, run it, and notice I get down here, wow, this is fun. Try doing this on your own. Make sure you can create a Java project. Make sure you can create a Java class. Make sure you can put some code in the Java class, that you can save it, that you can run it, and see what happened when you ran it down in the console. Go ahead, have some fun playing around with this. When you're comfortable with it, move on to lesson 1.d.